Let it go, free yourself from regret, and live fully. Introduction. The silent burden we carry. Have you ever found yourself replaying a moment from your past, wishing you had done things differently? Maybe it was a relationship you let slip away, an opportunity you didn't take, or words you wish you could take back. If so, you're not alone. Regret is one of the heaviest burdens we carry, yet it's also one of the most universal human experiences. Regret has a way of sneaking into our minds at the quietest moments, late at night when we're trying to sleep, in the middle of a conversation when something reminds us of what could have been, or even in times of joy when we wonder if we deserve to be happy. It whispers, "What if you had chosen differently? Why didn't you try harder? What if you could go back and fix it?" The weight of these thoughts can be exhausting, keeping us stuck in the past and preventing us from fully embracing the present. The story of regret we all share. Imagine Sarah, a woman in her late 40s who has always dreamed of writing a book. She had the passion, the ideas, and even started writing a few chapters. But life got in the way. Work, family, and the belief that she wasn't good enough. Now, years later, she wonders if she missed her chance. She scrolls through social media and sees others achieving what she once wanted, and that familiar pang of regret washes over her. Or think of Mark, who walked away from a relationship with someone he deeply loved because he was afraid of commitment. At the time, it seemed like the right decision. But now, as he watches old friends settle down and build families, he wonders if he made a terrible mistake. He replays moments in his mind, wishing he could go back and choose differently. We all have a version of Sarah's or Mark's story, something we wish we could change. But here's the truth. No amount of wishing can rewrite the past. What we can change, however, is the way we carry our regrets. Why we hold on to regret. Regret isn't just about what happened, it's about what it represents. It's the loss of possibility, the unknown path we didn't take. Sometimes we hold on to regret because we believe it's a form of punishment, a reminder that we need to be better. Other times, we fear that letting go means forgetting, and we worry that moving on would mean we didn't care enough. But regret, when left unchecked, keeps us tethered to a past that no longer exists. It steals our present joy, dims our future, and convinces us that we are defined by our worst decisions. The good news, it doesn't have to be this way. What this book will teach you. This book is about reclaiming your life from regret. It will help you understand why we dwell on the past, how regret shapes our emotions and decisions, and, most importantly, how to let go. You'll discover, checkmark, why we hold on to regrets and the psychological reasons behind them, how to shift your perspective and turn past mistakes into valuable lessons, practical exercises and techniques to release guilt, self-blame, and what-if thinking, the power of self-forgiveness and how to make peace with your past, steps to build a future free from regret, filled with clarity, confidence, and purpose. This journey isn't about forgetting your past. It's about freeing yourself from the grip it has on you. It's about understanding that every choice, even the ones we regret, has shaped us into who we are today. And that realization, it's liberating. So, if you've been carrying regrets that feel too heavy to bear, know this: you don't have to carry them forever. It's time to release the weight and step into a future where you are no longer held back by yesterday's choices. Are you ready? Let's begin. Chapter 2. The 2 types of regret. Not all regrets are created equal. Some stem from things we did and wish we hadn't. Others come from things we didn't do and wish we had. Understanding the difference can help us process our regrets more effectively. 1. Action regrets. Why did I do that? These are the things we wish we could take back, words we said in anger, choices we made impulsively, risks we took that didn't pay off. They often come with guilt and embarrassment. Example, imagine Lisa, who lost her temper during an argument with her best friend and said something she didn't mean. The friendship ended, and years later, she still wishes she had kept her cool. 2. Inaction regrets. Why didn't I do that? These regrets often haunt us even more because they represent missed opportunities, things we were too scared, hesitant, or distracted to pursue. Not applying for that dream job, not telling someone we loved them, not traveling when we had the chance. Example, James always wanted to start his own business, but he kept making excuses. Now, at 50, he feels stuck in a job he doesn't love, wishing he had taken the leap years ago. Research shows that inaction regrets tend to last longer than action regrets. Why? Because we can always rationalize an action. I was young, I didn't know better. But with inaction, there's always the lingering thought, what if? The lesson, if you're standing at a crossroads and fear is holding you back, ask yourself, would I regret not doing this in 5 years? If the answer is yes, it might be time to take that leap. Chapter 3. Why we hold on to regret. Even when we know regret doesn't serve us, why is it so hard to let go? The answer lies in 3 powerful emotions. 1. Guilt. I should have done better. Guilt comes from feeling like we failed to meet our own moral or ethical standards. It's the nagging feeling that we did something wrong and should be punished for it. Example. A mother who regrets not spending enough time with her children when they were younger carries guilt, even if she was doing her best to provide for them. 2. Shame. I am a bad person. Shame goes deeper than guilt. Instead of thinking, I made a bad choice, shame tells us, I am a bad person. Regret tied to shame can be particularly damaging because it attacks our self-worth. Example. Someone who cheated in a relationship might struggle with regret, not just because of the act itself, but because it makes them question their character. 3. Fear. What if I keep making mistakes? Sometimes regret keeps us frozen in place. We're afraid of making more bad choices, so we hesitate to move forward. Example. After experiencing deep regret over a failed business venture, Mike refuses to take risks again, even though he dreams of being an entrepreneur. His past regret has turned into fear of the future. How society and culture amplify regret. Regret isn't just personal, it's often reinforced by the world around us. Social media, for example, constantly reminds us of the things we could have done, comparing our lives to the highlight reels of others. Movies and books romanticize the idea of the one that got away or missed opportunities, making us dwell on our past even more. Family and cultural expectations also play a huge role. If you grew up in an environment where certain milestones, like getting married by 30 or having a stable career, were emphasized, any deviation from that path might leave you feeling like you failed. The psychological toll of living in the past. Regret isn't just an emotion, it affects our mental and physical well-being. Studies have shown that chronic regret can lead to increased anxiety and depression, sleep disturbances, lying awake replaying past mistakes, lower self-esteem and confidence, decision paralysis, fearing future choices because of past regrets. But here's the truth, regret does not have to define you. Holding on to it will not change what happened. The only thing you have control over is what you do now. Part 2. The impact of regret. Chapter 4. How regret affects your mental health. Regret isn't just an uncomfortable feeling, it's a mental and emotional burden that can shape the way we see ourselves and the world. It has the power to chip away at our confidence, fuel self-doubt, and even lead to anxiety and depression. If you've ever found yourself replaying a mistake over and over in your mind, you know how exhausting it can be. Maybe it's something you said that hurt someone you love, or an opportunity you let slip away. The longer you dwell on it, the heavier it feels. And over time, that weight can start to seep into every part of your life. Regret and anxiety, the fear of repeating mistakes. Regret often leads to anxiety, especially when we convince ourselves that one bad decision defines who we are. We start second-guessing everything. What if I make the same mistake again? What if I ruin another relationship? What if I never get another chance? This fear of repeating past mistakes can make us overly cautious, hesitant to take risks or make decisions. Instead of learning and growing, we get stuck in a cycle of over-analyzing and avoiding action, which ironically can lead to more regrets down the road. Regret and depression, the trap of what could have been. When regret is left unchecked, it can slowly turn into depression. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that life would be better if only we had done things differently. But here's the problem. The past is unchangeable. No amount of wishing, replaying, or punishing yourself will rewrite history. And when we refuse to accept this, we can end up stuck in a loop of self-blame and sadness. Some common thoughts that feed regret-induced depression include: I missed my chance, and now it's too late. I don't deserve happiness after what I did. I'll never be able to make up for my mistakes. The truth: no single mistake or missed opportunity defines your future. You always have the power to rewrite your story. How regret sabotages relationships. Regret doesn't just affect your inner world, it can also spill over into your relationships. If you regret past romantic choices, you might hold on to guilt that prevents you from fully committing to a new relationship. If you regret not standing up for yourself in a friendship, you might become overly defensive in future interactions. If you regret something you did to a loved one, you might struggle with guilt and avoid facing them altogether. Regret has a way of distorting how we see others and how we allow ourselves to be seen. If we let it, it can rob us of meaningful connections and second chances. But here's the thing. Relationships are built on communication, forgiveness, and growth. Instead of letting regret push people away, it can serve as a reminder to be more intentional, honest, and compassionate moving forward. Chapter 5. The physical toll of regret. We often think of regret as purely emotional, but it has a profound effect on our physical health too. Our minds and bodies are deeply connected, and when we hold on to negative emotions like regret, our bodies react. Regret and stress. The silent damage. When you dwell on past mistakes, your body interprets it as a threat, just like it would if you were in actual danger. This triggers the release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, putting your body into fight or flight mode. Over time, this stress response can lead to insomnia. Regret keeps your mind racing at night, making it hard to sleep. Headaches and muscle tension. The stress of regret can create physical strain, digestive issues. Stress can mess with your gut, leading to stomach pain, nausea, or loss of appetite. Weakened immune system. Chronic stress weakens your defenses, making you more prone to illness. The science behind regret and health studies have shown that chronic regret and stress can shorten your lifespan. Long-term exposure to regret-related stress has been linked to increased risk of heart disease, higher blood pressure, faster aging at the cellular level. The lesson: regret isn't just in your head. Holding on to the past takes a real, measurable toll on your body. The good news is that learning to let go can actually improve your physical health. Chapter 6. Regret in your future. When we spend too much time looking backward, we miss what's right in front of us. Regret can become so overwhelming that it prevents us from taking new chances, because we're too afraid of making another mistake. The danger of living in what-if scenarios. We all do it. What if I had taken that job? What if I had married someone else? What if I had been braver? While it's natural to wonder about different paths, constantly living in what-ifs is a trap. It keeps us from focusing on the one thing we can control, what we do now. How regret holds you back. 1. Fear of taking risks. If past mistakes haunt you, you may become too afraid to step outside your comfort zone. 2. Avoiding new relationships. If regret over a past relationship lingers, you might build walls instead of opening up to love again. 3. Perfectionism and overthinking. Fear of making the wrong choice can leave you paralyzed, unable to move forward. Reframing regret. What if it's a lesson, not a curse? What if, instead of viewing regret as proof of failure, you saw it as a teacher? Every regret carries a lesson, whether it's about making better choices, being more present, or valuing what truly matters. Instead of asking, "What if I had done things differently?" try asking, "What can I learn from this, and how can I use it to make better choices now?" Regret only has power over you if you let it. The past is unchangeable, but your future is wide open. Final thoughts, moving from regret to renewal. Regret may feel like a prison, but it doesn't have to be a life sentence. Understanding its impact is the first step toward breaking free. Your mistakes do not define you. Regret does not have to weigh you down forever. You have the power to let go and move forward. As we continue in this book, we'll dive into practical strategies to help you release regret, forgive yourself, and embrace life with a renewed sense of purpose. Because no matter what's behind you, there is still so much ahead. Part 3. Letting Go of Regret. Chapter 7. Reframing Your Past. Regret has a way of making us feel stuck, like we're trapped in a moment that we can't escape. We replay our mistakes, imagining all the ways we could have done things differently. But what if, instead of seeing the past as something to be ashamed of, we saw it as a source of growth? Changing the way you see your past. We can't change what happened, but we can change the way we interpret it. Instead of, "I wasted years in that relationship," try, "That experience taught me what I truly want and deserve in love." Instead of, "I failed at my dream," try, "I gained valuable lessons that will help me succeed next time." This shift in perspective doesn't erase what happened, but it releases the emotional grip it has on you. Post-traumatic growth. Finding meaning in regret. You've probably heard of post-traumatic stress, but have you heard of post-traumatic growth? It's the idea that difficult experiences, even regrets, can make us stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Many people who have faced deep regrets later discover that those experiences shape them in powerful ways. A lost job leads to a dream career. A failed relationship brings clarity and self-worth. A missed opportunity teaches patience and persistence. Your past doesn't have to be a burden. It can be the foundation for a better future. Exercises to reframe your past. The wisdom list. Write down 5 things you regret, and next to each one, write what it taught you. You'll start to see that even the hardest moments have value. The alternate story. Rewrite the story of your regret, but with a positive spin. Imagine how it led you to something good. The letter to your past self. Write a letter to your younger self, offering the kindness and understanding you wish you had at the time. Chapter 8. The Power of Self-Forgiveness. One of the hardest parts of regret is the guilt that comes with it. We can be our own worst critics, punishing ourselves over and over for mistakes long past. But here's the truth. You are human. You are allowed to make mistakes. You do not have to carry guilt forever. You are worthy of forgiveness, even from yourself. Why self-forgiveness is essential. Holding on to guilt doesn't fix the past. It only steals from the present. When you forgive yourself, you're not saying that what happened was okay. You're simply saying, "I refuse to let this mistake define the rest of my life." Steps to self-forgiveness. 1. Acknowledge your regret. Don't push it down. Recognize what happened and why it still affects you. 2. Apologize, if needed. If your regret involves someone else, consider making amends. A sincere apology can be healing for both of you. 3. Show yourself compassion. Imagine a friend made the same mistake. Would you hold it against them forever? Probably not. So why do it to yourself? Release the guilt. Let go of the idea that you need to suffer for your past. Carrying guilt doesn't serve anyone. It only weighs you down. Journaling prompts for self-forgiveness. What would I say to a friend who made the same mistake? What has holding on to guilt cost me? What do I need to hear in order to forgive myself? Meditation for self-forgiveness. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and repeat, I did the best I could with what I knew at the time. I release this guilt. I choose to move forward. Chapter 9. Learning from regret. Regret isn't just something to let go of. It's something to learn from. The key is to take the lesson, but not the pain. How to extract wisdom from regret. 1. Identify the core lesson. What did your experience teach you about yourself, your values, or your decisions? 2. Use it as motivation. Turn your regret into fuel for change. If you regret neglecting your health, commit to a new wellness routine. If you regret not following your passion, start today. 3. Break the pattern. Regret is only useful if it prevents you from making the same mistake again. Ask yourself, how can I do things differently moving forward? Stories of people who turned regret into growth. J.K. Rowling. She once called herself a failure, having faced rejection after rejection. But she used that experience to fuel her determination and eventually created Harry Potter. Michael Jordan. He was cut from his high school basketball team. Instead of letting that regret define him, he trained harder and became one of the greatest athletes of all time. Oprah Winfrey. She was fired from her first television job, told she wasn't good enough, but she took that setback and built an empire. Regret doesn't have to hold you back. It can push you forward. Chapter 10. Living in the present. The past is over. The future isn't here yet. The only moment you truly have is right now. Why mindfulness helps you let go of regret. When you focus on the present, regret loses its grip. You're no longer living in the past, you're living now. Mindfulness isn't about ignoring the past, it's about choosing to put your energy into where you are today. Practical tools to stay present. The 5-4-3-2-1 grounding exercise. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. This simple exercise pulls you into the now. Daily gratitude practice. Every morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from what went wrong to what's going right. Limit overthinking time. If you catch yourself dwelling on the past, set a timer. Give yourself 5 minutes to reflect, then move on with your day. How to cultivate gratitude for the present. Regret makes us focus on what we've lost. Gratitude reminds us of what we still have. Instead of, I wasted so much time. Try, I have the rest of my life to make things better. Instead of, I missed my chance. Try, every day is a new opportunity. Detailed explanation of exercises to let go of regret. Regret is a heavy burden, but you don't have to carry it forever. The following exercises will help you reframe the past, forgive yourself, and embrace the present. The key is consistency. Small daily actions will create a lasting shift in your mindset. 1. The Wisdom List Goal. Transform regret into valuable life lessons. How to do it. 1. Write down 5 regrets. Choose 5 things you regret most. These could be related to relationships, career, missed opportunities, or past decisions. Identify the lessons learned. Next to each regret, write what it taught you. Try to flip the negative into a positive learning experience. Example, regret. I wish I had spoken up for myself in that argument. Lesson, I learned the importance of standing my ground, and next time, I will assert myself. 3. Read your list daily. This reinforces the idea that past mistakes are stepping stones, not roadblocks. Why it works. It shifts your focus from what went wrong to what you gained, helping you break free from rumination. 2. The alternate story. Exercise goal. Change the way you interpret your past mistakes. How to do it. 1. Pick a regret that still haunts you. Choose one regret that plays on repeat in your mind. 2. Write the original story. Describe the event as you currently see it, focusing on why it bothers you. Example: I regret not taking that job offer. If I had, I'd be in a better position now. I wasted an opportunity and made a huge mistake. 3. Rewrite the story with a positive perspective. Now, rewrite the event as if it was meant to happen for your benefit. Example: that job wasn't the right fit for me at the time. If I had taken it, I might not have developed the skills I have now. It led me to where I am today, and I trust that better opportunities are ahead. Why it works. This exercise helps rewire your brain to view past mistakes as part of your journey, not dead ends. 3. The letter to your past self. Goal: replace self-criticism with self-compassion. How to do it. 1. Imagine your younger self standing in front of you. Think of yourself at the time when you made the mistake or faced the regret. 2. Write a letter to that version of you. Speak to yourself with kindness and understanding. Address your fears, mistakes, and regrets, offering reassurance. Example: Dear your name, I know you're feeling lost right now. I know you think you made a huge mistake. But I want you to know that you were doing the best you could with what you knew at the time. You're still learning, and that's okay. This moment won't define you. You're going to grow from it, and I promise you, better things are coming. 3. Read it aloud. This reinforces the self-forgiveness process and makes it more powerful. Why it works. It allows you to separate yourself from the past version of you, helping you let go of guilt. 4. Self-forgiveness meditation. Goal: let go of guilt and release emotional weight. How to do it. 1. Find a quiet space. Sit in a comfortable position with your eyes closed. 2. Take deep breaths. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold for a few seconds, and slowly exhale through your mouth. Repeat 3 times. 3. Repeat. These affirmations. Say them silently or out loud. I did the best I could with what I knew at the time. I release myself from guilt and choose to move forward. I forgive myself and allow myself to grow. 4. Visualize letting go. Picture your regret as a heavy weight. As you exhale, imagine it dissolving or floating away. Why it works. This practice rewires your brain to replace guilt with self-acceptance. The 5-4-3-2-1 grounding exercise goal. Stop overthinking and bring yourself back to the present moment. How to do it. 1. Pause and take a deep breath. If you catch yourself lost in regret, stop and breathe deeply. Engage your senses. Identify. 5 things you can see: your hands, a tree outside, a book on the table. 4 things you can touch: your clothes, a chair, a cup. 3 things you can hear: birds, a ticking clock, distant voices. 2 things you can smell: coffee, fresh air. 1 thing you can taste: mint gum, a sip of tea. Why it works. When you focus on your senses, your brain stops dwelling on the past and shifts into the present moment. 6. The daily gratitude journal goal. Shift your mindset from what went wrong to what's going right. How to do it. 1. Get a notebook. Keep a small journal just for gratitude. Write 3 things you're grateful for every day. They can be simple. I had a great conversation with a friend. I made progress on a personal goal. I enjoyed a peaceful morning. 3. Reflect on past regrets with gratitude. Try to find one thing from a past mistake that led to something good. Example: I regret staying in a bad relationship, but it taught me what I truly deserve in love. Why it works. Gratitude rewires the brain to focus on the positive, reducing the power of regret. 7. The time limit for overthinking. Goal: prevent regret from taking over your mind. How to do it? 1. Set a timer for 5 minutes. When regret starts creeping in, allow yourself 5 minutes to reflect. 2. Use that time to write or speak it out, journal about it or talk it out with a trusted friend. 3. When the timer ends, move on, shift your focus to a productive action. Take a walk, read a book, do a hobby you enjoy. Why it works. It trains your brain to limit how much time you spend dwelling on the past. Part 4. Moving forward. Letting go of regret isn't just about making peace with the past. It's about creating a future that excites and inspires you. This final section will guide you through setting new intentions, building resilience, and embracing imperfection so you can move forward with confidence. Chapter 11. Setting new intentions. Regret often keeps us stuck in a cycle of what could have been, making it difficult to move forward. But the truth is, your past does not define your future. Setting new intentions allows you to reclaim control of your life and create a future based on what you truly want. How to create a vision for your future. Instead of looking back and wondering, what if? Start asking yourself, what do I want my life to look like moving forward? What goals excite and inspire me? What kind of person do I want to become? Exercise. Your future self letter. Write a letter to yourself 5 years from now. Describe. Question mark. The kind of life you're living. The habits you've developed. The dreams you've accomplished. The lessons you've learned from past regrets. Why it works. This shifts your focus from dwelling on the past to actively shaping your future. Chapter 12. Building resilience. Life will always have challenges. The key to avoiding new regrets is learning how to bounce back without being consumed by failure. Resilience is what allows you to adapt, grow, and keep moving forward, no matter what happens. How to build emotional strength. Reframe setbacks as learning experiences. Instead of seeing failure as the end, view it as a lesson. Develop a bounce-back mindset. Accept that setbacks are part of growth. Surround yourself with support. Strong relationships help you regain perspective. Exercise. The resilience list. Make a list of 3 difficult situations you've overcome in the past. Then, write, question mark, what you learned from each experience, how you handled it, how it made you stronger. Why it works. Seeing proof of your past resilience builds confidence in your ability to overcome future obstacles. Chapter 13. Embracing imperfection. Perfectionism is one of the biggest culprits behind regret. We often hold ourselves to impossible standards, and when we fall short, we beat ourselves up. But life is messy, unpredictable, and imperfect, and that's okay. Why perfectionism fuels regret. It makes you hyper-focused on mistakes rather than progress. It creates unrealistic expectations, making any misstep feel like failure. It stops you from taking risks or trying new things. Exercise. The imperfect action challenge. Choose one thing you've been avoiding because you're afraid of not doing it perfectly. Then, do it anyway, even if it's messy, even if it's uncomfortable. Celebrate the action itself, not the result. Why it works. Taking imperfect action teaches you that growth comes from trying, not perfection. Conclusion. A life without regret. As you've journeyed through this book, you've explored the nature of regret, why we experience it, how it affects us, and, most importantly, how to let it go. You've seen how regret, when left unchecked, can hold us hostage, keeping us trapped in a cycle of self-blame, sadness, and missed opportunities. But you've also learned that regret doesn't have to be a life sentence. It can be a teacher, a guide, and even a catalyst for change. Let's take a moment to reflect on the key lessons. Understanding regret. Regret is a natural part of being human. It arises when we recognize that a past action or inaction didn't align with our values or desires. It's not about punishing ourselves, it's about learning. Reframing the past. Instead of letting regret consume you, you can change the way you see it. Mistakes and missed opportunities are not dead ends, they're stepping stones. When you shift your perspective, you open yourself up to growth, resilience, and self-compassion. Living in the present. The past cannot be changed, but the present is yours to shape. Practicing mindfulness, gratitude, and intentional action allows you to move forward, unburdened by regret. Final thoughts. Regret does not define you. You are more than your past decisions. You are more than the mistakes you've made or the chances you didn't take. The beautiful thing about life is that it moves forward, whether we embrace it or not. You have the power to choose what you carry with you and what you leave behind. Letting go of regret doesn't mean pretending it never happened. It means acknowledging it, learning from it, and then giving yourself permission to move forward. It's an act of self-liberation, and you deserve that freedom. Call to action. Take the first step. The idea of letting go of regret can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. You don't need to erase every regret overnight. Instead, start small. Identify one regret that has been weighing on you. Write it down. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow because of it? Take one step forward. This could mean forgiving yourself, reaching out to someone, making a different choice, or simply deciding to stop letting that regret define you. Let go, bit by bit, day by day. Bonus section, tools and exercises. To help you continue this journey, here are some additional tools and exercises. 1. The regret reframe. Exercise. Take a regret you've been holding on to and rewrite the story around it. Instead of seeing it as a failure, frame it as a learning experience. What did it teach you? How has it shaped you into the person you are today? 2. Self-forgiveness. Letter. Write a letter to yourself about a regret you've been struggling with. Speak to yourself with kindness and understanding. Acknowledge what happened, express any emotions you feel, and then offer yourself forgiveness. 3. The what if challenge. If you find yourself stuck in what if thinking, turn it around. Instead of focusing on what could have been, focus on what still can be. What is one action you can take today to move forward in a positive direction? 4th gratitude practice. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. This helps shift your focus from what's missing to what's present in your life right now. Why this book matters. Regret is a universal experience, but it doesn't have to control your life. It doesn't have to define who you are or dictate how you move forward. Letting go of regrets offers you a roadmap to freedom. It provides the tools to process your past, find meaning in your mistakes, and step into the present with hope and purpose. This book is for anyone who has ever felt stuck in the what-ifs and is ready to reclaim their life. No matter where you are on this journey, know this: you are not alone. You have the power to rewrite your story, to find peace, and to move forward with a lighter heart. The past has shaped you, but it does not define you. The future is still yours to create. So, take a deep breath, let go of what no longer serves you, and step forward into the life waiting for you, without regret,